Hey, welcome back. Programming 11. Wow, we've made 4 different kinds of shapes. It's phenomenal. But all these shapes are kind of white shapes with black outlines. And the background's always this kind of faded gray color. So now we're going to be taking a look at how you can control the color of the shapes that you draw. We're going to not tell every little detail about the story right now. I'm just going to give you enough information to get forward. But I do want to just mention at the beginning of this video that we'll be coming back to talk about other ways to color our shapes or to introduce color into our projects. Because processing gives us a lot of options for that. And we're just going to look at one option right now. Okay, so let's start by talking about how colors are represented in a computer. In a computer, you might have heard the term RGB, red, green, blue. Those are the primary colors of light, which of course is different than the regular primary colors in your visual arts class. You probably learn about mixing paint. The primary colors there are red, yellow, and blue. Yeah, that's right. Red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors of normal paint and art and that kind of stuff. But when you're mixing light, it's red, green, blue are our primary colors. So all colors are described in terms of how much red, green, and blue make them up. So if you want to make orange, you're going to describe, oh, I need this much red, this much green, and this much blue. If you want to make magenta, or purple, or salmon, or whatever color you want to make, it's always telling it how much red, green, and blue you want to use. And, off the top of your head, you might not know how much red, green, and blue is required to make cyan, or, turquoise, or something like that. So luckily, processing comes with a tool that'll help you figure that out. I'll show you the tool right now. It's just up here under Tools, the Tools menu. And you might notice there's some other interesting tools in here, but we're just going to look at this one right now, the Color Selector. So you might have seen this type of thing before, either in art programs or online. Basically, lets you just kind of navigate around, so I can click and go down the hue, choose different hues, and then color a particular saturation and brightness. So maybe I want to make green. This green color here, or this blue color, or this purple color. I don't know. I don't even know what these colors are. So you'll notice that they give you a whole bunch of numbers. I'll zoom in. I'll try to zoom in. Yeah, here we go. So they give you a whole bunch of numbers. Actually, kind of 3 sets of numbers. There's the HSB numbers, the RGB numbers, and this hex code here. They actually ultimately say the same thing. They're different ways to describe this purple color. And we're going to be using the RGB numbers today, but just know that there's ways of doing using the other ones that we will find out why they're useful from time to time. But now we're going to use red, green, blue. So I can see that I need 135 red, 99 green, and 234 blue. And if I mix that amount of color together, I get purple. So that's pretty fantastic. So I'll zoom out. And let's go ahead and change the color of our triangle. So the way you do that is with the fill function. So fill is going to allow us to choose the fill color of every shape that we draw after the fill function. So it doesn't fill shapes that are already drawn. It will choose the fill color for future shapes that you draw. That's always something that people get confused at when they first start with processing. People often put the fill after triangle, expecting it to fill it with color, which makes sense, right? Like I could see how you think that. It's just not how it works. So instead, think about you're choosing the crayon that will be the fill color of the triangle, and you have to choose that before you draw it. That's the way I like to describe it. So the fill function is going to take 3 arguments. It's going to take a red, a green, and a blue value. And these vary between 0 and 255. So 0 means no red, green, or blue, and 255 is the maximum amount of red or green or blue that you can give. And anywhere in between is just whatever percentage or of that it is. So I'm going to start by putting in the numbers for that purple color. I don't know where that went. I guess I'll just open it again. So I'll go back to the color selector. So we'll type in 135. Oops. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try again. Color selector. Yeah. So actually, you can type in here and this window will stay up. But now I kind of messed it up, so I gotta try to get back to purple. And I'm not gonna get quite the same color, so we'll just have to deal with whatever this one is. Okay, cool. So I'll get this purple. So it's 98. That's how much red it has. I can see that right here. 20 is how much green that color has, and 224 is how much blue it has. Whoa. So if I say fill, and then I have triangle, then it will be drawn with purple. So let's look and see. There it is. There's that purple triangle. Now what happens if I draw another shape? So if I don't choose any other fill, and I go to draw another one, let's say I do a ellipse next, and I do it at 300, 300, and it's, no, I guess I have to make it some size, 200 by 200 wide. Guess what? This ellipse will also use the same fill color. So it's like fill things with purple ever after, over and over again. So if I run this, you'll see I got a purple circle. But what if I didn't want a purple circle? What if I was like, no, I want a green circle? So you'd have to use another fill function. So I'd have to choose another fill, and I'd have to put it before I draw the ellipse. So this is purple for my triangle, but then I have to have a different fill. So let's go find the fill for the triangle here. Let's bring that back. Oh, gorgeous. I don't know if that green looks that good or not, but I'm going with it. So I'll fill 20, 224, and 35. And again, I'm just looking at the RGB numbers. The first number is the red value, 20, then 224 is the green, and 35 is the blue. So now if I run that, check it out. I will get the green circle and the purple triangle. So it sometimes helps to space things out. I like to put in what's called white space. It's just extra spaces or line break, so I'm pressing enter, just to like group things together. So I can see that this goes with the triangle and this goes with the ellipse. It's just a handy way to separate these things. And if I was writing this program, I might, describe each part as I go. So I might describe this as, this is supposed to be the mountain, and this is supposed to be a hill. I might kind of make those comments as I go. So that's how you can introduce color into the inside of these shapes. It turns out you can also change the outside color too. The outline right now is black by default, but you could change that color. You can also change the thickness of the outline as well. So let's do that. Let's go change those things. Let's maybe make them, there's no good color here. Whatever color I choose is going to be pretty ugly. I bet there actually is a good color. Someone out there is an artist, and it's probably like, choose this color, and I'm really trying to channel your energy, but I'm just going to go with a yellow, because it's, I don't know. Actually, it might be okay. Can I get a good yellow? There we go. That's about as good as I'll get. Sure. So if I want to change the color of the outlines, I can do that with a function called stroke. And it's the same arguments. It's red, green, blue. And the first number is the red, so for me it's 246. The green is 255, and the blue is 0. Now, if I run this, it'll be hard to see because it's such a thin stroke. So while I'm at it, I'll also show you stroke weight. Now, stroke weight is a tricky one because there's actually a capital W here. So watch out for the capital W. If you type in a lowercase w, it actually doesn't work. So watch out. The stroke weight function chooses how thick a line is. So I'm going to type in 10. This is measured in pixels. So the argument is basically thickness in pixels. 10's a relatively fat thickness. You'll see it'll look pretty big. So I'm going to go ahead and run this. And I just want you to think about this. What's going to turn yellow? Is the triangle going to turn yellow in terms of the outline? Is the circle going to change yellow? Like, which one's going to change yellow? Let's see what the answer is. I'm running it. Hey, look at that. They both now have an outline of yellow. It's kind of like fill, how we talked about how you put in your color for the fill and it applies to everything afterwards. Same with stroke. So if I wanted a different stroke for this circle shape, I don't know why I call it mountain and hill, as if I'm drawing a picture. anyways, if you wanted a different one, you'd have to type in another stroke, like maybe here or something, or up here, but somewhere just so that it affects the ellipse, after the triangle and before the ellipse. So that's how you can kind of control the colors of different objects in your program. So right now the stroke applies only there, but watch what happens. If I take that and I put it here, then the triangle is going to not have any stroke. It'll just have the original stroke, and it's going to be the ellipse that gets the yellow, only the ellipse. And that's because there is no stroke command before triangles. It was drawn with the defaults, and then the stroke command gets applied only to the things that come after it. So that would be the ellipse. I know it's a lot to take in. It's kind of confusing, but we're going to give you a project pretty soon. It'll give you a chance to experiment with these different things and see how it all works, and actually get your hands dirty with all these complicated things that will turn out to be not too complicated once you've done them for a little while. There is one last thing I wanted to mention, and that is background. There's a background function, and you can again give it a red, green, blue arguments, so 3 numbers, and you can paint the entire background of the screen. It's not exactly what you would think, though. Here, I'll put background, and we'll choose a color, another amazing color. Let's go to color selector. Let's pick, pink. So here's some numbers for pink. So I'm going to choose 255 and 39 and 205 is what it tells me. And you'll notice that it is that gray background. It now changes to be pink. So back there is pink. But I want you to know that just because it says background, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be in the background. So for example, if I was to take background and put it at the end of the program, watch what happens. I'm going to run it. Wow, it's all pink. What happened to my shapes? What happened to my triangle? My circle? Where did they go? Well, background obliterated them. It did actually draw the triangle and ellipse, but then background came and it painted it on top, which isn't what the word background means. So it's a little bit frustrating, but just know that background will cover whatever was drawn before. And sometimes students get stuck where they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to fill the background, and they don't know what happened to all their things. So the answer is basically if you need to paint the background with background, do it first. And I think that will solve most of your problems. Sometimes people actually do put background at the end because for some reason they want to cover things up. So if you want to do it, then that's how you do it as well. So there you go. There's our color functions. We have fill will change the color of shapes that follow it. Stroke changes the outline of the shapes of all the shapes that follow it. Stroke weight will change the thickness of those. Will change the thickness of every shape's outline. And background colors that background space, but beware, it will also obliterate or cover up other things too. So make sure you put that first if you're going to use it. Okay, so that's that. I hope you have a good feeling for how colors work. Hope you can find a color selector so you can choose colors effectively as well. And that's the lesson. Thanks so much.